I don't blame you if it feels like all I do is talk about Kendrick and Drake. I mean, I've been doing this channel for 6.5 years. I've racked up 10 million views, which is awesome. Thank you. But 2.5 million of those views are Kendrick and Drake. And I counted it, 36 videos about either of them. Okay? But I'd like to remind you that in that time, I've actually made 400 videos about hip hop and rap. And the reason that I bring this all up is that I've been saying the same thing since September 7th, 2018. I've been saying, hey everybody, rap music is great, hip hop is great. I know it's easy to despair. I grew up in the 90s. I grew up with the Wu-Tang and the Fat Boys and the Run DMCs and all of that. But I've been saying for as long as I've been doing this channel, rap is alive. But now it's like everybody sees it. And I think the buzz around this new album by Larry June, 2 Chainz, and Alchemist, Life is Beautiful, is a sign of that, the spring that everybody feels. Maybe it's just been a winter, and I've been trying to tell everybody, hey, underneath all that snow, there's grass that will grow. And maybe now is the time. Maybe in the great post-Kendrick Drake moment, we can actually appreciate it. Because I get the sense that a lot of people who've been commenting on this have been saying sort of like, look at this. Rap is back. Here we are. We're back here, and it's finally great. But I don't really think it's that. I think it's that the people who love rap music and who have seen it take a lot of hits, especially in the mainstream, have seen a lot of what they love about it disappear. Maybe they just feel heartened. Maybe their minds are a little bit more open right now because of rap and hip hop taking a great victory lap against the forces of pop and corrupted hip hop. I don't know what it is, but I think this album is getting a lot of shine, and it's sort of a right place, right time by absolutely the right people. Because this is like the opposite of the last album I reviewed, the Drake and Party Next Door album, which I gave a positive review of that album. So if you haven't seen that review, go see it. I gave a positive review of the album, not of the artist, of the album. But that's 21 tracks. It's not really rap. There's all sorts of auto-tune. I gotta fix my mic here. There's all sorts of auto-tune all over the place and like 1,000 producers for every single song. And here we have 2 MCs. Like right now I'm teaching a class on hip hop and I just have a slide. I have it already. Just beats and rhymes. DJs and MCs. That's the basis of this art form. It's not 10 different producers and 3 different ghostwriters and 3 different regular writers and all that, right? This album right here, you got the 2 MCs, Larry June, 2 Chainz. You got the producer, Alchemist. Everybody is at the top of their games. 11 tracks, and every single track is good. Every single track has a great beat, a great verse from Larry June, and a great verse from 2 Chainz. It's like... it's not as rare as a lot of people despair. I'm not trying to rhyme right here. It's not as rare as people despair. That's fair. But it is still something special and something we need to appreciate. Now listen, Larry June is taking the lead on this whole project. Like, it's called the Larry June album. And I reviewed this album a couple years ago, maybe a year ago, The Great Escape. And I liked it a lot. I enjoyed it. But I also felt like, I'm good. I get it. He's a laid back guy who doesn't really care that much about rapping. It's just one form of getting a paycheck, and he has lots of passive income, and he lives in the Bay Area. And I kind of felt like, cool. Like I'm happy he's doing his stuff. If he ever played in a show, I'd go see it. But I don't think I need to bump every single project. I feel like I basically get it. Which makes this album so awesome, because this is what a good collaboration can do. This is what you get when you put together 2 different rappers and you go, they wouldn't go together, would they? And they go together absolutely perfect. You know how I know? In most pairs of MCs, or not most, but in many, when it's not well balanced, you're waiting for one of them to go. Even if you like both of them, there's always like, oh, I can't wait for this person's verse. I can't wait for that person's verse. I often talk about Armand Hammer. Like, I love Elucid. I thought his album was one of the best albums of the year last year, but I'm usually waiting for Billy Woods' verse. And it's not that I dislike Elucid. It's just that it's not a 50-50 balance in my head. This album, it is a 50-50 balance. When I'm hearing Larry June, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to hear 2 Chainz. When I'm hearing 2 Chainz, I go, oh, I can't wait to hear that. It's great, you know. And it's interesting because, you know, Larry June is the oldest young rapper that there is. I think he's like maybe 31 years old, but all of his raps are super mature. And what I like about this channel and what I've been trying to do is I've tried to like catch up on things I missed, because if you don't know the lore of the channel, in between like 2002, 2004, I basically stopped paying attention to new music, including hip hop and rap. So I missed Crank That altogether. I just missed it completely. Just whatever that was. Basically, it was when 50 Cent came in, and I just thought, oh, I don't think I like this, and then I just was out of hip hop. I actually like 50 Cent now, but at the time I was a snob. So, anyways, so I missed 2 Chainz completely, just entirely. Like whatever he was, I remember. Okay, I remember the movie Rogue One, the Star Wars movie. There's this cool character who appeared in the trailer, and his name is 2 Tubes, because he has 2 tubes out. I gotta move the microphone out of the way so you can really see this thing. His name is 2 Tubes, because he has 2 tubes coming out of his face, and the people who made the movie confirmed he is named 2 Tubes after 2 Chainz. And so that prompted me at the time to try to check it out, but at that point I didn't have the discernment, you know? Maybe like some of you who are just coming back to rap after having given up after so many years of Drake bloat and oppression. You just have trouble discerning between the people. So I didn't understand who 2 Chainz was. And now I've listened to him, and I do have one problem with him. He's just too old. He's too old, you know? Like, I can't relate to him because the age difference between me and 2 Chainz is just too great. You see, he was born on September 12th, 1977, and I was born on September 13th. So, like, you know, that one extra day, I can't relate to him. I'm sorry, isn't that funny that I'm one day younger than 2 Chainz? And Fiona Apple, by the way. We share a birthday. So I've just been sleeping on 2 Chainz. I didn't know what to expect. I just assumed, because I knew he was an Atlanta guy and his name had Chainz in it, that he was just going to be some kind of mumble rapper. Get mad at me. Go ahead. Get mad at me. Say, Skye, you have no right to talk about hip hop. You don't know anything about this. I don't contest it. This channel, ignorance is profound. That's what it says on my mug. Ignorance is profound. By that, I mean there's a lot of stuff I don't know about, but also you can learn a lot by not knowing something already. That's how you get wisdom. That's how you learn. And I'm learning about 2 Chainz through this project. So, you know, I knew Larry June. I know Alchemist really well. I feel like I've reviewed probably over 20 Alchemist projects at this point. I mean, just a ton. By the way, he's a month younger than me. So 1977, pretty good year for white guys in hip hop. I mean, not 2 Chainz. I mean, Alchemist to me. But what did I learn about 2 Chainz? The dude's amazing. This is just my first project with him. Is he always this good? Is this what 2 Chainz is doing all the time? And if so, how is he not in the conversation for one of the greatest rappers out there? I mean, he's insane. His flows are ridiculous. His rhyme schemes are ridiculous. His word choice, his accents, his change of flows, his usage of flows, the character in his voice, the fact that he's like kind of a rough crime guy, but also kind of an old smart guy, you know, like he's not 47 years old like me and still trying to pretend like he's 20 years old. I'm not talking about Drake necessarily, although I am talking about Drake as well. You know, he's like actually an old guy, but he's still able to talk about young things as well. And he's just straddles that line between just sort of like street stuff and not street stuff. It's just great. He's amazing. So tell me in the comments, what essential 2 Chainz projects have I been missing? Because I am officially a 2 Chainz fan, especially the way he compliments Larry June. And, you know, we're in this time where rappers are aging and they are allowed to age. Okay? I just would like to remind you that when I was growing up, the golden age of the 90s was brutal on old rappers. If you weren't LL Cool J, forget it. Okay? Run DMC played a free concert at my college. The Run DMC with Jam Master Jay. Whole thing. Free show at my college in 1999. Literally nobody went. there was like 10 people in front of a stage just on an open field. Just nobody cared about the old school. Cool Mo D couldn't have sold water in the desert, okay? And we're allowing rappers to age, and it's really nice. And what we're seeing and what we're getting is a lot of wisdom. Forever. I almost called him 2000. Andre 3000 will be one of the greatest of all time, who also said, you know, put on his glasses. Nobody wants to hear a rapper rapping about a colonoscopy. False. I would like to hear about a colonoscopy. Hey, I have a colonoscopy scheduled actually. So there's that. Thanks to Rob Markman. Actually, Rob Markman rapped about getting a colonoscopy. I'm like, I gotta do it. You know, this is real. People age. These experiences need to be expressed. This album is about exercising and eating right and making good decisions with your money. It's really nice because it does all those things without being preachy, without being stupid, without being. It's just like a great piece of art. That's the thing. Like all these rappers, all these underground rappers who managed to sell albums and managed to make, like, they're full-time artists. They're full-time artists making hip-hop music at this super high level. It's just great. You know, sure, there's some sex, there's some drugs, but it's mostly about being happy with your family. And it's just the craft of rap music, beats and rhymes and beats and rhymes and rhymes and beats. And Alchemist just, you know, he keeps growing. He keeps changing up his style. It's slowly developing. I mean, you can hear the differences. I was today years old. Wait, I'm going to pause this to make this point. I was today years old when I realized that Alchemist debut, his rookie album, was Defari Focus Daily. I love this album. I saw Defari at a second stage at Lollapalooza and with Exhibit. I think he's actually with Exhibit too. And it was just amazing. You know, that's how long Alchemist has been making these great beats. And you can hear it. Like when you hear the beats with Defari, or when you hear the beats of Mobb Deep, or even just you hear the beats from 5 years ago. He's moving more towards this kind of lighter atmosphere, this great kind of gauzy 70s feel. And he's just great. Outrageous loops, outrageous usage of loops. It's just wonderful. So how am I going to break this album down? I'm just going to really focus on the first two songs. For the most part, 11 tracks. Just right, great, keep it going, right? But it's all such high craft. It's all such high craftsmanship. To a certain extent, they're just like really well-made chairs at a table. And you got to look at the chair and look at the way it's designed, but you don't necessarily need to spend the same amount of time on every single chair at the table. I don't know if I like that metaphor. I came up with it on the fly. I'll keep working on it. So the first track is called Mion Canyon. I'm just going to say that one more time. Mion Canyon. Canyon. Kind of a 70s sample with these rising strings and these angelic voices and almost little glockenspiel sounds. So much heavenly glory in this beat. And the thing that he does is like he pulls back these rising strings. Alchemist pulls back these rising strings, and they are there for the first verse, but they're more for 2 Chainz' verse, and they're used just right to break up the feeling. And we get the ultimate Larry June verse: switch whips in the AM, pick up the bagel with the cream cheese. I don't know. Okay, listen, is bagel okay? Is bagel with the cream cheese? Is that some kind of drug reference? Or is he legitimately talking about getting a bagel with cream cheese? Shit, though. He's in San Francisco. He's in the Bay Area. I lived in the Bay Area for several years. Would you like to know? Ironically, the number of good bagels I ate in the Bay Area are also the shape of a bagel. Then Smoke with a view of Sausalito. So it's actually pretty deep Bay Area references on this album. It's like Sausalito is like a part of Marin County. It's like a kind of a rich part of the county. So like you really have an image of where he is. Hope for them one, still on the streets, never had a job, never had a GED. So much of what he's trying to talk about is how he came from nothing and how he has all this stuff, and all the stuff that he has is partly due to his intelligence, right? His main thing is like, I'm a smart guy, I didn't waste my money. I done pushed every V12 you can think, 20 cameras in my crib when I go to sleep. He has very funny ad libs. He's like the opposite of like of what you usually think of ad-libs because they're really mellow. Like they don't get you hyped. They actually get you kind of calm. So this is the ad-lib for that line. Cool. I done pushed every V12 you could think of. Which one? 20 cameras on my crib when I go to sleep. Cool. Never had a B word that was hard to keep. Just very simple, laconic, straight verse. And then we get 2 Chainz. And 2 Chainz gets the highlighter award from Professor Skye. That's right, everybody. You're going to see me try to break down all the multisyllabic and mosaic rhymes for 2 Chainz because he's got a ton of them. And the thing is, his style is so southern. It's so simple and straightforward. It really doesn't draw attention to itself. But let's look at this, okay? In particular, what's highlighted in green, in yellow, is the E sound. Okay? Then he usually has that tied in with an eh. Okay? So usually what he's doing here is he has a multisyllabic rhyme run that goes e. So the middle syllable is what I call a dummy rhyme, which doesn't always rhyme, but when you have 2 rhymes around it, it works. So as an example, physically, Philippines meant to be. So like all those syllables don't necessarily rhyme, but 2 of them do. So you kind of get that feeling. Okay? Like you get it that it works. It creates that rhythm there, right? Channel B's, mindful of greed, Pellegrino, lemon squeeze. Do you see that? Okay, this line right here, I'm not going to say. It's inappropriate. For all these amenities, I was meant to be. So I took the N sound and put it in with a pink on top and the bottom. For you to do it physically, you got to think mentally. You see, he's not super precious, right? Because it's not always this multisyllabic run here. Okay, sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. I put my mind to it. I get it eventually. And then look at this end here. It's just amazing because he introduces a whole nother sound, which is the po sound. Started off po, but I'll buy a ho potentially. So potentially mixes together the new sound, the new post sound, with the most complex version of what he's been doing, which is rhyming n dummy syllable ly. Potentially. I'm a pro talking, propensity. Propensity, potentially, all tied in because the N-city that's here is still up there with amenities up there. No, I had the grams for cheap, ain't no mystery. It's effortless. It's sweet. It's funny. It's well done. The thing that these rhymes do when they're done well. So I got to put in a bow. When I go to bed at night, my hair gets all floppy, and I have a 2-year-old, and I put her to sleep, and I take her little bow just in case I need it in my videos. That's better. I know, I might look silly to you, but I feel much better. So all of these rhymes coming together, creating a rhythm. That's what it's able to do. It's able to create a rhythm with words. And that's why it's important. The meaning of the words is important, but the way it goes with this Alchemist beat that is just out of this world and flying and sweet, and then all of this just southern drawl delivering all these multisyllabic and mosaic rhymes. If you don't remember, mosaic rhymes is when one multisyllabic word rhymes with multiple words that have those same rhymes. The best example is Biggie, escargot, my cargo, and then we have those all over the place here, like amenities was meant to be, right? Amenities is 1 word, meant to be is 3 words. He's rhyming those together. That creates rhythm because amenities is you just say it all together. Meant to be, you don't. So amenities meant to be, amenities meant to be. Awesome. This is what 2 Tubes was up to. Oh, I lost the page with 2 Tubes. And Rogue One is a fun movie. It's a little bit overrated by Star Wars nerds, but it's pretty fun. And then he just keeps on going with this kind of rhyme. Fishes in the sea, business entity, shitting me, crybaby. And then it ends with maybe a Lou Rawls quote, I want to say. And then we get to the next song, Colossal. The 1-2 punch. right off the bat on this album is just stupid. Just. Sorry, my dog almost fell off the dog bed. Fortunately, it's on the ground. I don't think he would have been hurt. The 1-2 punch here is just ridiculous. This backwards sound, and then the drums come in, and you always think of Paul Revere whenever you hear backwards drum sounds. Just this killer low piano and these bongos. Just, oh my, I just want to live in this groove. It's just too good. And the chorus. They asked me, where's the roof? I ain't seen it. Hoffa. Yesterday when I woke up, I ate lobster. So many things to love. First of all, I love Jimmy Hoffa. The movie Hoffa, not the garbage movie by Scorsese. The Irishman, a movie. What's that thing that all the cool kids say? That movie is Cheeks. I hear Open Mike Eagle call things cheeks all the time. Is it appropriating if I say it yet? That's what sucks. Whenever you hear a cool word coming from Black Americans, you can recognize it, and then you just sort of wait, like, well, it's eventually just going to be taken. So I take that back. I will not say cheeks. I will not take that word. It's bad. It's bad. That Scorsese movie is bad. But the De Niro movie, Hoffa, starring Jack Nicholson, is delightful. So I really enjoy that. And it's just his style. Just, it's a simple line. Where the roof? I ain't seen it. Hoffa. Yesterday I woke up. I ate lobster. I assume this is a reference because, listen, we have kids like the same age, 2 Chainz and I, okay? Very different lives, 2 Chainz and I. We've led very different lives, okay? He's had 1 extra day than I have, so, but beyond that, we've led very different lives. But I can tell that it's not that different at this point. We both work hard. We both hustle. We both know that we have to keep working in order to feed our families, and we both care about our families a lot. And I assume that he watched the Lego Batman movie with his kids. And if you've seen the Lego Batman movie, Lego Batman eats lobster thermidor for breakfast all the time. So that's what I think of. And just the way that 2 Chainz, and maybe this is stupid because you know all this because you're already a 2 Chainz fan and I'm just so late to the party. But the way he starts off this line, Louis bag, Prada bag, body bag, kind of sad. Just, the opening lines of a rap song, they're so important. They're so important. Okay, if I can be an old head for a second. These days, rappers don't pay enough attention to, like, starting off a verse powerfully, Bomb atomically, like, Louis bag, Prada bag, body bag, kind of sad. Great. Some smoke gas, pour a drink, try to laugh. That's my dog, ain't no lab, nonetheless. I surpass. You ain't first, then you last. F the hearse, F the grass. I think that was a Ricky Bobby reference, Talladega Nights. And then just there's a little more of this kind of backwards guitar that Alchemist puts into the back here because I think he just slight differences in the production for each of the rappers. And Larry June is just awesome. Fundamental situation, F, some getting elevation. I'm like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, everything's correlating. Arnold Schwarzenegger is very important to Californians. True story. My doctorate, my PhD, was signed by Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was the governor at the time. And I just have a note here at the end. Just so killer, goddamn. That's just the feeling. I've listened to the song over and over again. It's just so killer. It is just such a good song. I've been, this great gentle sound, a little hiss of a record player, and it's all sorts of wisdom. Minding my business, drinking water, doing crunches. I started doing crunches lately because I don't get to go to the gym enough because I'm too busy with my kids. Every time I start doing crunches, my 2-year-old comes over with a pillow because she thinks that I'm uncomfortable because I'm like, Poppy, pillow? Anyways, drinking water. I'm drinking water, doing crunches. This is what important you got to do. It's what you got to do when you're our age, Getting paid for discussions over Alchemist production. He's an artist, right? He's just an artist. He's like just putting those words together. I can repeat them and I can analyze them, but I could not put them together, and I don't think you could either. Getting paid for discussions over Alchemist production. Something's going on upstairs. Should be fine. Getting paid for discussions over Alchemist production. Getting paid for discussions over Alchemist production. Beautiful. Use a Rolls Royce for seduction. Wear a rollie when I'm effing. You need to put on a condom because you may not be that lucky. Great advice. Hey, another way that I know he's my age, we all grew up terrified of AIDS. Man, I was basically positive I was going to get AIDS when I was growing up. I was like, I'm going to get abducted. The so the guy who took Arnold and tried to give him a bike and told him to pretend to be Tarzan, that guy's going to abduct me, and I'm totally going to get AIDS even if I'm a virgin. It's just going to happen. And then he goes on, they got deadbeat moms now, and nobody knows where her nose goes from the sundown. Interesting kind of dark turn here. Beautiful. They talk about jumping rope. Again, a lot of exercise in here. And then like there's this different flow. For 2 Chainz where he just got Hermes on my bandana, I came with 3 hoes like I'm Santa. Very funny. Made her throw it back like Mitchell and Ness. Hustle plus passion equals success. Soon as I walk in, I kiss on the flesh. You ain't got to tell me I know I'm blessed. I like that because there's so many lyrics about throwing it back and it's kind of boring, but Mitchell and Ness is the name of the company that made the throwback jerseys back in the day. And then you have Bob Costas. Can you be a happy person and sing the blues? Right here, one of the great central questions. A lot of rappers rap about being rich. Very few rappers rap about being happy. Okay? So these guys are both basic. I got a comment in one of my videos recently, and if it was you, peace be with you, I'm fine. But he's like, the thing I don't, or it might have even been on Reddit somewhere, I don't know. Someone said like, I like Professor Skye, but he talks too much about how happy he is with his family. It's like, hey, a lot of YouTubers are successful. Not that many YouTubers are happy. I'm a happy guy. I like talking about it. And also, I think it's important. I think it's important to send because most of my audience is young. And young people are lied to and they're told that being young is awesome. I'm trying to tell you, take care of your brain. Don't pick up any crippling addictions. And when you make it to middle age, life will be better, Anyways, and it turns out this interview about can you make the blues when you're sad? That's the whole point. Can you make a rap album when you're not still on the streets? That's the subtext. Can you make a rap album when you're in your 40s and you got kids? Can you make a rap album when you're not drilling? And it's an interview with B.B. King, who's referenced on the next song. Very cool. LLC. This is some grown human rap music. Man, I got to make an LLC. And I think I've asked this before. How do you do it? Can I make an LLC without having to fill out any paperwork? I really need one because, man, all those Drake and Kendrick videos managed to get me some money in that. Now I got to pay these weird taxes on them. I don't like it. I'm not trying to get Wesley sniped. I got my car in an LLC. I got a pistol in my wifey's name. He's like giving advice on how to get around different laws. Bad Choices. Oh my God. The beat on Bad Choices is an all-time Alchemist beat, which is like saying it's an all-time beat, just period. Just this Wu-Tang style bass with these high strings and this tambourine at the end of the phrase. Like I think multiple clipped vocal samples. I do not get what he does. I just don't. And there's all sorts of advice at the beginning. If your blood pressure's too high from eating all that DoorDash. That's true. You eat too much DoorDash. You eat out too much, you're going to get high blood pressure. And just, Jesus Christ. I just find myself writing out 2 Chainz' verses. This track ought to wake him up, call him Folgers. Surrounded by angels, demons can't approach us. Me llama dos cadenas, baby buenas noches. That's how you say 2 Chainz in Spanish. You see, that's how you bring in Spanish. You don't just put on a Spanish accent. I'm the big dog. I'm the cane corso, which is like a kind of dog. It's a very large dog. Ends up in different spots. Had the same choices. Soon as I plant a seed, I pray the rain moisten. Soon as I left, new edition. Gave the game poison. No, soon as I left, I knew edition. Gave the game poison because Belle Biv DeVoe left New Edition. Hey, Boston. Belle Biv DeVoe left New Edition and they made a hit with a song called Poison. I'm telling you, this is great. I suggest you follow the Dissect podcast on Instagram if you don't already. He has a little like 1 minute clip about this song that's frankly better than what I just did. It's very good. You should check it out. Next track is called Life is Beautiful. It's obviously, it's all about the movie with Roberto Benigni, the comedy about the Holocaust. I'm sorry, that's a weird joke. There was a movie called Life is Beautiful that was a comedy about the Holocaust. Nice little flute sample here. More wisdom being dispensed. My heart's so big I had to step back, put time in my craft. I'm a full-time dad. Morning time decision, hard top or the rag, sun dropped off, now I'm back to the lab. You know, that's the life. That's the life that this guy leads. He's going to work, he's taking care of his kids, and he likes his cars. And he shouts out Benicia, which is a funny town because there's a town called Vallejo, which is pretty famous because of E40, and then there's a town called Benicia, and they're right next to each other. And Vallejo's wife was named Benicia, so he named it after his wife. It's kind of funny. There was a story, I think there's something to do with that in the Tyler video, but I forget. And then 2 Chainz has a different flow on here than he has the rest. It's way more emphasized. Just going on and on. If you don't work, you don't eat. He talks about his kids learning how to drive. My 17-year-old, I've been teaching her how to drive. You know, it's terrible. It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing teaching your kids how to drive. Like, oh, would you like me to teach you the most dangerous thing you can do? Sure, here you go. Next track is called Generation, which there's more little backwards sounds. The way that the drums match up with the backwards loop is like not clear. I don't know how Alchemist does it. Kind of a weird thing here where 2 Chainz is describing the sad truth. We are the generations that got the kids on Dirty Sprite. We, the generation, got them on Perks every night. So it's, you know, if you don't watch Rap Latte, they do a lot of good stuff about generations in rap music. I'm just giving everybody shout outs today. But you know, Generation X, right? That's what I am. That's what Alchemist is, and that's what 2 Chainz are, and it's true. They are the ones that modeled that for the next generation, which is not great. Next track is called Any Day. Very gentle sample with a little rat-a-tat-tat on the end with the drums. Larry is just so smooth. He's talking more about passive income. Very into it. 2 Chainz talks about hoarding property. I still ask the price, and I can afford it. Plenty. You see? There's rich rapping where like there's a thing where influencers or like fake millionaires on the internet, they brag about how much money they spend on stuff and how they don't ask for the price, but that's just ridiculous. You're going to be poor. You're going to be poor. If you make a lot of money in your 20s and you don't ask for how much stuff is going to cost, you're going to be poor. So I still ask the price and I can afford it. This right here, he's putting you up on game. Plenty equity, I'm a property hoarder. What's in my pocket? A rocket, a quarter. Wish it in wood. I'm copping Sequoia. Try to hide the pain. Put Molly in the water. Like in one verse, he's giving you advice. He's talking about the ways that he tries to self-medicate. He's talking, you know, all these great ideas. Epiphany, the great swirling beat. And it's really just an excuse for 2 Chainz to go around and around and around on this word epiphany. Benefits, ribs, ligaments, different, predicament, licking it swiftly, Tiffany, symphony, epiphany, century, Tennessee, just great. Them diamonds you got on ain't no VVS. The cologne you got on came from CVS. So efficient. The cologne you got on came from CVS. You ever see the cologne at CVS? It's like Channel number 5. Is there supposed to be 2 N's in Chanel? It's, you know, it's like Edward James Olmos presents Escape. You know, the brands are a little bit off. True Organics, more like a funk soundtrack here. Just Larry June coming out with this opening line, 30 minutes in the microwave, I'm hard like that. Can you imagine how hard something would be if it was 30 minutes in the microwave? It's awesome. I got an app on my phone that I use to stretch. Man, I need an app on my phone. I need to stretch because you need to stretch, everybody. Stop lifting weights and start stretching, you know? It's not strength, it's flexibility that's going to get you into your old age. They remind me of the days when I lived in the O. I had that spot in Jack London with the view of the ocean. Jack London Square is a place in Oakland. And when I lived in Oakland in 2002 and 2004, it was the most boring place. It had like a spaghetti factory and a Barnes and Noble, and that was it. Anyways, I tell my youngin' be cool on them cash apps. So much good financial advice. I love the weird ahs in the back, and the album ends with Jean Prouvé. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about a French furniture designer. We are moving on to real luxury, okay? Listen, I'm going to put you up on game. If you're ever older, okay, past the age of 30, and you really want to impress the ladies, learn about mid-century modern furniture. They all go crazy for it. like this couch right here. See this couch? I found that couch on Facebook Marketplace or whatever. I'm telling you, when you're younger, make sure you have clean shoes, like you have good shoes. That's what you need. But when you're older, you gotta like understand nice, clean lines. You know, don't just have a lazy boy. You know, you gotta think about design. You gotta think about how it looks. And so that's what Jean Prouvé is. He's a really nice like architect and chair designer. Anyways, I love it. I love this too because 2 Chainz is doing. And by the way, for those of you who are out there who know what I'm talking about, you are just like, thank you, Skye, for telling the truth. You know, before you're 30, make sure you have clean shoes. After 30, mid-century modern furniture, and you're all set. The 2 Chainz verse here, it's like all punchlines that he sets up in the line. So it's not like line, punchline. It's like beginning half, then punchline. Before I get fellatio, 2 verification codes. I like when 2 to 1 the ratio. I forgot about my ex, just like Mexico. One said 2 Chainz. The other said, there he go. Miso, cod, and yellow tail from Nobu. King crab and from poppy steak, fountain blue. Know my flow is nasty like Mountain Dew. 2 Chainz, everybody. I am officially awake on 2 Chainz. Just a hilarious line. My flow is nasty like Mountain Dew. We have crab juice and Mountain Dew. Ugh. Crab juice, please. So there you go. There's my review. Let me know what you thought about it. And listen, if you've been all excited about rap music being good over the past, with Not Like Us and with Kendrick and GNX, and you're like, hey, what else is there? I got 400 videos for you to check out, okay? All right, until next time, the camera should be